This segment of the Bass Kayak and Beers podcast is sponsored in part by Dark Horse Tackle. Go to darkhorsetackle.com and use promo code BKB5 to save an extra $5 when you build your own box. Douglas Outdoors. Serious rods for serious anglers. Norsk Lithium. The lithium kayak battery you need is just a click away. Go to norsklithium.com. Catch Outdoors, the official measuring board for all 3 national trails. Go to catchoutdoors.com and use promo code BKB5 to save 5% on your next online purchase. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Bass Kayak and Beers podcast, the real life. This is a segment where we talk about guests and we do a live show. And today I got Peter Husser from the My Chaotic Fishing. It's a great dude, good friend of mine. And I always love having Peter Husser on the podcast. And we're going to be talking about soft plastic baits. But before I forget, we're going to have a giveaway tonight. And I'm telling you, it's going to be over $200 in prizes. So the way you enter the giveaway, I know a lot of times it's like, well, you have to stay till the end. And then at the end, we'll give a giveaway. We'll do the giveaway at the end. But I understand some of you may be in the East Coast and you can't stay up as late. And sometimes we go for a long while. So if you want to take part of the giveaway, we would love it if you could stay to the end of the podcast. But if you can't, you can enter the giveaway now and we'll announce the winners. So eventually you're going to have to come back either to the podcast on Facebook or YouTube, or what you could do is you can listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Amazon or whatever podcast streaming platform you use, and check out if you want. If you want, then you message me and let me know what your address is, and then we'll send you the whatever prize you win. It's going to be 3 winners. We're giving away $50 gift cards for Mariner Sales, which you can use for any Mariner Sales products that are on retail in their store. You can buy online. If you're not from Texas, you can show up online and use the gift card. I'll mail you the gift card. And so it's going to be 2 winners for that, one each $50 gift card. There's also going to be a $25 gift card for Dark Horse Tackle. Again, none of these gift cards are string attached. You buy whatever you can or with the gift card. So it's 2 $50 gift cards, a $25 gift card. With the $25 gift card, which because it's a smaller gift card, we're also going to add a catch board from Catch Outdoors. We're also going to add a recoil RoboHawk. That's going to be the 3rd winner. And we are also going to add some rod socks from Douglas Rod. These are all from my business partners that sponsor the podcast. The way you enter the giveaway is do hashtag giveaway in the comment section, whether you are watching on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Just hashtag giveaway on the comments now or at any point, and then I'll take a note of that. And I'll put it on the Wheel of Fortune, and we'll pick 3 winners at the end of the podcast. So that's it. Let me share this. Oh, by the way, if you're watching on Facebook, feel free. Almost mispronounced that word. Feel free to share this on Facebook. It doesn't cost you a dime. It does help out with the growth of the podcast. And while we're doing that, let me actually share it myself because I haven't shared. I can't ask you to do something I haven't done myself. So let me share this real quick before I bring my guest in for the day. That's it. I just shared. I hope you're doing the same if you're watching on Facebook. So once again, giveaway. Let me give a shout out here as I run through this. TJ Atkins, what's up, Armando? TJ, thank you so much. Great angler here from Texas. Wolf of Walmart, Dave Erkey, thank you so much for joining. Also in the giveaway, Zachariah Fuller, what's shaking, baby, from the Dark Horse Tackle. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go live on Instagram tomorrow with Zachariah to do an unboxing of the August box. I know we're kind of late with it, but so that's it. So remember, hashtag on whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. I IZMON on Instagram. I got you. I'll add you to that. And that's it. Let's bring in our guest for today. Peter, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing awesome, brother. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know this was kind of short notice, so I really appreciate you taking the time to come up to the podcast. So how's everything, man?
I'm glad you could have me, man. It worked out. We skipped the Thursday night working man's tournament on Levon, so I'm just super excited to come on and talk about. Well, I won't sugarcoat it. I mean, plastics aren't really all that exciting.
I know, man. That's why I tortured you. I made you miss weeknight tournament so you to come here and talk about the least favorite subject that you like to talk about.
That's
I'm a
okay.
bad friend.
It's all right. We'll probably even rustle some feathers because some of my favorite plastics are typically dogged pretty good on social media.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I know you're a big corporate guy. You love the big companies that copy
They copy everybody.
They copy everybody.
I mean, as we're sitting here before the show, if you remember, I said I got to go get some things. So big box corporate stuff. But at the end of the day, I also like saving some money. So we could talk a little bit about that too.
Oh yeah, talk about it.
That's not a partnership deal. I mean, I just something I had thought about, as I'm sure many people have, and figured. The only reason anybody was really good at it is probably because they messed it up a few times. And so that's kind of the deal.
As people start adding into the live stream, remember, hashtag giveaway at the end. We'll announce the winners. There's going to be 3 winners. If you can't stick around till the end, just come back, watch the episode, or listen on MP3 format. And if you want, message me. So we'll get you those this giveaway bailed out to you guys. So you had something. You sent it through my text, but I don't know how to share it.
Text. No, it's a shameless plug. So
go ahead, man.
As you know, we've fished tournaments together, and so I do a lot of the kayak stuff. I was out not night before last. I don't know. The nights are hard to remember, but I go shore banging, fishing local ponds, lakes, all that different stuff. I also fish with a few boat clubs, and one of them is the Ray Hubbard Bass Club. And every year they do a big benefit tournament for the American Cancer Society. And I'm going to pull it up right now, as a matter of fact, because this year, pretty big. It's coming up October 27th on Lake Ray Hubbard. You win just by entering the tournament. Right. It's to a good cause. There's tons of sponsors that after the tournament at weigh-in, you can buy extra raffle tickets, all that stuff. Like the giveaways are huge. I mean, it was like trolling motors, rods, baits. I mean, just like thousands of dollars of giveaways at the end. But this year, let's see, guaranteed first place payout, $3,000. That's courtesy of Hooper Plumbing and AC. There's a big bass payout, $1,000 pays 2 places, courtesy of Simplistic Fishing, who's another local guy. So, it's Ray Hubbard Bass Club, October 27th, Fish for a Cure. That's my shameless plug. Last year, we raised just over $50,000 for the American Cancer Society. And so, our president, Tom, is years into being cancer free. So, and no one's that far away from it. So I'm not trying to drag down podcasts or anything, but nobody is separated by more than 2 or 3 people, somebody impacted. So
yeah, we all know somebody is affected by cancer for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So that's my shameless plug, but it's a lot of fun. We launch out of Chandler's Marina, which is right there. If say you got a John boat, I've tried to do kayaks. I've tried to see if they'd let me fish a tournament in a kayak. They won't let me do it. But if you got a John boat, and I'm not telling you I'm giving you the juice, but there have been plenty of tournaments won out of that marina. So if it's a little rough, you got a John boat, you want to fish a tournament, do not be scared to fish that marina because there's a lot of big fish in there.
I think
out for it.
I think marinas are the most underrated spot. Like people don't realize, especially on lakes where you have big tournaments or regular tournaments, the fish are released back
Why
at
do you
the
think that
marina,
is?
and so a lot of them just stick around. So I think a lot of people missed out on that. You'd be amazed how many big fish stick around close to the marina.
I mean, we're all creatures of habit, right?
Yeah,
And so if I just pulled you out of your home over in Fort Worth or wherever and dropped you off in some other country, but you had everything that you needed to live a bountiful life, like you might, including family and all that stuff. I mean, it'd be tough, right? So, you think about it, all these fish come out of wherever they're coming from, into an area where there's ideal living conditions, right? They've got immediate access to depth, they've got immediate access to spawning areas, they've got, tons of bait fish, they've got cover, they've got, yeah. So yeah, the resident fish. But I think that, and that kind of plays into the plastics things, man. I think marinas are underrated, and it's an ego thing, guilty myself. But you think, oh, I'm not going to go catch those retreads or this and that and the other thing. Like at the end of the day, people remember who won the tournament. They probably don't remember where you caught them or what you caught them on, right? They don't care. They just care that you won at the end of the day. So yeah, that
I
kind
only
of,
care if you catch it on sonar, but that's another subject.
yeah. Oh my goodness. Hey, so by the way, like the best worm for forward facing. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, you know what though? It seems like every company and their brother is just relabeling everything FFS, and dude, oh my gosh, that is ridiculous.
It's funny, and I don't mean it. I actually saw Spike, which is one of my favorite brands. Spike, the where you dip that dye
Spike
where
it.
Spike
Yeah.
it.
Oh
They
yeah, yeah.
actually have a Spike for facing sonar. Now I don't know what comes into it. I did ask somebody that uses it, and his words were, "It does shine brighter." From what that person told me, again, I haven't seen it, but from what that person told me, it does shine brighter on like a diamond. No, I'm kidding. On their live scope. So if it's one of those things where you can barely notice it, you can notice it more. Uh, so
Yeah.
hey, listen, I love that brand. I love Spike and I use it a lot. Not just their dye. There's a lot of other stuff that they make that's pretty cool. So hey, I'm not hating on it, but yeah, it's interesting, man. We went from sonars to sonar baits to sonar rods to now sonar spike it. So
Yeah, it's
that's where
I haven't seen that. I mean,
and
I understand the principle of put some heavy metal. I mean, in theory, if you put heavy metals into something, because
yeah,
that's sonar, right, as a sound return, even live is just 2D. That's a whole nother conversation. Live is just instant return 2D with a constantly refreshing image. But Blake, we are awesome. As far as plastics though,
yep,
it's my end all be all is going to be confidence. And unfortunately, a lot of people in the world of today aren't willing to put in the grind, for the shine. They're not willing to put in the work, because when I say, well, what are you confident in? If you go out and fish 20 days a month and you're not catching jack, how are you going to be confident in something?
yeah.
So it's about putting in the time, honing your skills and all that stuff. Now, there are outliers with everything. And so, I mean, I get asked a lot, hey, what color, what this, what that. Um, you know, I don't know. North Texas, I mean, would you argue just a watermelon red, anything basically?
Yeah, I think especially. Well, let's break it down. First of all, like let's break. What are we talking about? Craws, trailers. What do you want to start with? Because I want to break it down into soft plastic creatures like craws, brush hogs, whatever you want to call them.
Mhm.
Your typical Texas rig
Yeah,
kind
your
of thing.
lizards, just a lizard. I mean,
Your
it's a
lizards,
brush hog, but it's a lizard.
your jig trailers or chatterbait trailers. We'll put those two together, or swim
Yeah.
jig trailers. And then Yeah, those are the two categories pretty much. And what else? Oh, and your soft plastic swim baits, like the like the I don't know,
Mag,
Big
I mean, we're talking like
Joshi or the Kitex or stuff like that.
you were talking
So
Magdraft soft
no, not
plastic.
the big ones. We just
Okay.
yeah, we can talk about backdraft too. But so which one do you want to start with?
Yeah, I mean, uh, not all Guggen baits suck. How about that?
I agree. I actually agree. I've tried them. They
There.
don't last very much. You'll get one bite of it, but you'll get
Well,
a
you know
bite.
what I didn't hear you say?
What?
I didn't hear you say that the action was horrible on them.
No, they're not.
If you
They have.
fish,
They did have some type of the first bandito bug. I think it had to be redesigned. From what I heard, this is all. This might just be gossip, but the first bandito bug, I caught a ton on the bandito bug. Again, they don't last. Like one bite and that's it. That thing is destroyed. But from what I understand, there was some type of like what do you call this? Forgot. Oh my
like a
god,
class.
patent design
Oh,
violation. So they had to redesign it. Not sure how true that is, but the original Bandito bug was pretty good.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of the brands that's
That's a whole
we
nother rabbit hole. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we joke about brands that copy each other, but at the end of the day, for me, I think that there's like a few different things that are important, right? So
Yep.
it's not really like the brand. I mean, it's cool that Guggen is Texas and started here. Blah blah blah. I'm a big Sixth Sense guy, right? A
Yeah.
lot of their plastics are indeed actually poured here in Texas, not sponsored, so we know. But it what plastic achieves what you're going for, right? So how you choose your plastics, and this is an ever changing thing, especially for me. I feel because I'm learning so much every time I go out. Whether I fish with somebody new, whether I fish with somebody who's been doing it for 30 years, uh, I'm gonna do my best to try to learn something, right? Because even if you're really bad at something, like you could still be a really great example of what not to do, right? So
Yep.
learn 100% of the time. Um, when I go out, like so tomorrow, I'm gonna go out and fish a river system on a local lake, and I'm gonna want something that is somewhat finesse but has a big presence in the water. And so for that, I like that 6 Sense hybrid jig because it's kind of that teardrop shape. But for trailer, and I'm going to do a darker color because I think with some of this rain, we're going to have some runoff, so the water will be medium to moderately stained. So I'll probably do like a black and red. Black and blue's never been my like super confidence color, although where we're going to be fishing in October, it's the only color. The Guggen Ratlin chunk,
Hmm.
which is nothing crazy, right? But its kickers are spread out so wide. It does have the little flap on the end, so like the little T, so you get a lot of action. Even on the
Yeah.
fall, those things just blah 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 down, and it's got a rattle inside of it. Not that you can't slip a rattle inside of a rage craw or anything else. Maybe I'm just lazy, but I like them. I like the colors. I like the way that they pair up. And it caught this fisherman, but this fisherman's caught a few fish. So, for like a jig, just a regular jig trailer, the Rattling chunk, that's my general go-to. During the winter, if it's cold and I'm jig fishing, I'll go to something a lot more subtle. Because guys like Mike Iaconelli said we need something more subtle in the winter,
Yep.
right? I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and BS you and act like I'm the expert, but I'm pretty sure that like everybody watching the show right now, if you don't know who Mike Iaconelli is, dude is a legend of the sport, by the way. But go look him up. Immense amounts of info. That guy just pours his
Yep.
brain out, and he can speak to it. He can speak to it. So during those colder months when the fish are more lethargic, I'll go with like a 6 cents, like a stroker craw. It's got the craw legs also, but it doesn't have little flappers on them, so it's a little bit more subtle. It gets bit, so it works. So when it comes to stuff like that, I'll run that. Yeah, I mean, I think with say like like a chat any of the chatterbait stuff. You know, what else? I think a lot of people they like the Zacho. 6 cents
Yes.
makes a juggle minnow that I like, and it's kind of real small tail on it. It has a tail section, but it's got a little ball, and it just wobbles around everywhere.
Yep.
The chatterbait's a reaction bait, so it's not finesse. It's not certainly not duplicate. I've caught suspended, like out of PK. I've caught suspended fish in 30 feet of water off of an all white jackhammer. So I think for me, a thing with plastics is I'm gonna go with action over durability. And that's, I mean, just like John just said, right? Fish Insanity. I mean, everybody praises all the JDM baits. Nobody complains about their lack of durability. All of a sudden, there's an American brand. And here's the big difference. A lot of in my opinion, a lot of that JDM stuff, right? People are fishing it in these highly pressured waters, and they're totally fine with one bait, one fish, because they're fishing for like a quality bite. They're going to fish for that one thing, and they need a bait that's going to be able to produce an action that can trigger, a fish that's seen everything in your tackle box. Now, the one big difference, right? Come to the United States. I mean, the type of people that are fishing here as compared to over there, it's completely different, right? Here in the United States, I'm just gonna say we're pretty ignorant people, right? We're gonna go to Walmart. We're gonna spend $30 on a spin cast combo and buy a thing of bandito bugs and go out to a lake. And because we saw some stupid YouTube video, we expect we're gonna go catch a bunch of fish. And so they go to a marina, they throw that bandito out, by the dock, and it gets nip by 10,000 bluegill, and they bring it back and ain't got no arms and legs on it, and they're like, "Oh, this bait's trash." I mean, I know some baits that are made out of, I wouldn't quite say Elastec, but like almost Elastec. Specifically like the sleeper craw. When that bait started to gain traction with like more like the mass populace, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, right? It hadn't been an issue before, but all of a sudden, oh man, you get the craws ripped off of them. Man, let me tell you how many fish I've caught off a damn sleeper craw and never lost a claw. Like, I've caught so many fish on that bait that it literally becomes a line through. Like, it rips the weight. The weight that's inside of that looks like what you would throw inside a tube jig, essentially. And I catch so many fish on them without losing the claws that the body thing like ends up sliding up the line, but it's still got two claws. So I think the big thing is people, right? And on social media, everybody's got a voice, right? And everyone's gonna go post their big fish picture up. Guilty, right? Like, I post fish pictures all the time. That gives that random dude with a honey hole that nobody else fishes a voice. Yeah. And if they say that a certain bait sucks, all of a sudden, right, everybody who's never fished that bait has an opinion. So, like I said, for me, I don't go about it in terms of thinking, what color do I need to throw tomorrow? Where am I going fishing tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah. What am I gonna want? To try to trick those fish. And so tomorrow, around a lot of heavy cover, like, I'm gonna throw a jig on braid with a rattling chunk and let it sit, give it a pop here or there, and hope between noise and scent that something ends up tugging on the other end of the line. But yeah, definitely, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't going to complain about how great the action of a bait is, but then there's a whole buttload of people that are going to complain, oh, that bait's not very durable.
Yeah, I know. On when it comes to trailers, one of my favorite ones, I'm gonna put it up right here, is the Zoom's speed crawl, and I agree with you. I like. Let me see if I can find it right here because I got a mess here. I love it's an example of one that I found the other day. Nope, it's not. Well, it still works. You see on this one, like the appendages. I don't know if you can tell here, but you see it has a little
Has a
niche,
ridge. Yeah,
a
has a
ridge
ridge.
on it.
Yeah.
That ridge allows it to do that kickback. I don't buy
Please.
soft plastics that don't have that ridge or at least something similar. The speed crawl is different. So the speed crawl, what it does is the water pushes it, opens up the kind of like the crawl, and then that gives it that kick action.
Yeah.
Those are the two.
So and when you get into plastics too, not that I certainly can't read a bass's mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's what we all are, pretending like we know how to do. But
yeah,
at least for general knowledge or some fat to chew on, right? The claws or appendages that have those ridges are generally, this is the motion.
Yep.
So if this is what you see going away from you and you're a fish, like, are you going to eat it? I don't know. If the answer is yes, yeah, put that on, right? On the one that you just showed, like the speed craw, where it has that kickback,
yeah,
that creates this motion,
yeah,
through the water. Like I said, I mean, if somehow you can read the mind of a bass and know what action they want, great. Otherwise, goobs like me are just I'll throw one for half an hour, I'll throw the other for half an hour, and try to switch it back and forth. But that's, with plastics, that's the other thing too, is that, like, tomorrow I'm fishing a stretcher river. Well, what if I throw one plastic? Like, I'll ask you this, Mono, like, what if I throw one plastic for half an hour and I don't get bit?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I change plastics and I get bit in the first 5 minutes. Was it the wrong plastic? Or were there no fish that were actively feeding in the area that I just fished for half an hour?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. And again, for those that are joining us, giveaway today, just do hashtag giveaway. We're going to have a big giveaway. If you can't make it till the end of the show, you can always come back and listen, find out if you won. And if you won, you can message me through whatever social media form you're using right now, and let me know that you won and your address so I can send you the giveaway. We're gonna have doing gift cards, we're gonna do accessories, we're gonna do tackles. So just to let everybody know, hashtag giveaway. All right, yeah, I agree with you. I think for trailers, those are the two main ones. The one that does a little kickback. One of them is an action is gonna be more subtle but quicker. The other one, like we mentioned, this is gonna be more of a rapid action.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that even goes into small soft swim baits. When I say small, it's 5 inches and under, right? So like a 5-inch soft swim bait's not a big swim bait. You could throw it on a medium heavy rod. If you look, and at this point, full disclosure, like, I'm regurgitating knowledge that I've gained. But John trying to give away the juice. So when you look at those, smaller soft swim baits, like, those tails on them are all designed for a different action, right? Some of them have that, tighter kick, and some of them, the whole back of the fish, wobbles. And if you watch them in slow-mo too, because we're supposed to be going out and getting some video, like, you've even got the bigger paddle tails that literally, like, kick up and they do this back and forth. At the end of the day, think about your target species. What are they eating during that given time of the year, right? Is it in the spring when those fish are crazy active and you can get out on the water, whether it's from the bank, a boat, or the kayak, and you see giant clouds of bait and they're like darting like crazy? Probably you want something tight that you can just rip. Whereas other times of the year, right? The peak of the summer, the peak of the winter, you get those lethargic fish and you see those fish in big clouds of bait, but they're moving around, kind of a little bit more lazy. Well, those tails are probably going like, this and this. So in theory, because I mean, like a good buddy of mine, right, says uh, there are no absolutes in fishing.
Exactly.
Shout out to homie John Shin, man, Fish Insanity. Um, these are theories, and for you to really get value out of these theories, like you are the only person, like whoever's watching this right now, you're the only person who can extract value out of anything
Exactly.
anybody says online by going and doing it. So if you're not sure, get 2 lizards, take it like that, right? 2 creature baits. Get one that you feel has a lot of action, right? Small, thin, wiggly appendages.
Yep.
Get that one. Get another one that doesn't look like it moves a whole lot. Try that one. And think about what your bait's doing in the water and impart action accordingly, right? Those big plastics that have all the big waggly appendages, I mean, that's action that's supposed to attract and trigger a bite. So impart your action accordingly on that. That's my thought process, right? You don't go, in most scenarios and slow drag a bait that has big old wagglers on it. At least I don't. Whereas at the same time, you don't throw a lot of these, like the Do Live makes a bunch. I think probably, and it's a ripoff or a copy bait, right? I think ripoff, don't want to offend nobody, but like, Rapala Crush City came out with their Bronco Bug, right? Which is a copy of, it's not Depths. Somebody in the comments knows, but it's a direct copy.
Yeah.
Well, that thing doesn't have big appendages, right? What it does have is weight and water displacement. It's got your big body for where you hook it. And then on the back of that, there's a thin point in the middle. And as that bait falls, those legs just go bloop, 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 bloop. There's not a big kick. There's not any of that stuff. So when you're talking about plastics, again, think about the action that you want imparted. What are they eating? What are they chasing? All those things. I mean, that's the fishing puzzle, right? Is who can put it together most quickly, right? And be able to execute on that knowledge, on that puzzle that they've put together. So that's kind of.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Shout out to Carl Wells. Carl, thank you so much. I recently met Carl Wells on was it the demo at Mariner Sales? So Grapevine, hosted by Mariner Sales. Great person, Carl Wells. So
she fishes a lot of the local Texas Trail tournaments too.
Yes, great angler. And by the way, Carol and Mike M, you're both on the giveaway Wheel of Roulette or the Wheel of Fortune. So I got you there. If you can make it to the end of the show, just come back and check out if you won, and then message me if you did. Yeah, I think going back to the soft plastic, you mentioned something about swim baits. I think swim baits, I don't think people understand the huge difference between, and you touched on it, a bootleg swim bait and a paddle tail swim bait. And both have their both can catch fish. Don't get me wrong. I have of the mindset that a boot tail swim bait, the action is a lot more natural, and in my personal opinion, it works better. But like you said, there's nuances to it, right? Like you can say, oh, this bait worked better. Well, was it that it really worked better, or was it that you actually decided to throw it just at the right time
at the
right place and happened to get a better result? You never know. When fish are on a feeding frenzy, they'll pretty much bite anything, unless sometimes there's too much bait, then it can be a problem. But again, so many variables. But what I would say is that I don't think a lot of people understand the difference between a paddle tail and a boot tail. Look at videos, and even if you have the opportunity, if you have a pool, if you're fishing on clear water, you have both, or buy both a boot tail and a paddle tail, and look at the difference. The boot tail to me is a lot more effective, my opinion. To give you an example of a boot tail swim bait, if you're trying to figure out what is Armando talking about, check out Big Joshy. That is a swim bait with a boot tail, and their action is so much better, in my opinion, than a paddle tail because of what you talked about. That paddle tail kind of just goes up and down. It's kind of like a swing, where the boot tail just goes whoop, 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 whoop.
So that's something else too. I have developed a preference, and you for me, the preferences are always changing based on input, right? The input of like being out on the water, because there's nothing that substitutes for that. But for me personally, there's a certain soft swim bait, like between 2.8 inches and 4.2 inches. There's one that I fish between like March and September, October, and then there's one that I fish between October and all the way into February. One, right, has a big side to side with a lot of body roll, so it's more action, it's more everything. On the other side is more of a round body, right? So that visually, at least, and water displacement, I guess technically, it's not doing a whole lot, but it has a tighter little tail. And those two for me. So you've got the again, just not sponsored. I like their baits. 6 Cents makes a Divine Swimmer, which is that round, with the paddle on the back. And then they also make the Whale, and that Whale has a more shapely body. And for that cold side of the year, I like the Divine, which is that round body. And then for the warm side of the year, I like the Whale, which gives a lot more of that. And also one of my theories, for whatever it's worth, is I like plastics that have some feature of contrast. So even like out at Caddo, black and blue, right? That's the deal. I have more confidence if I chartreuse a tip. Doesn't matter. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's a stick bait. It doesn't matter if it's a T-rig. It doesn't matter if it's a chatterbait by Grass Lines. Like, yes, black and blue, yes, dark colors for that tannic water, but a dip tail. And again, that's somebody in the comments said it earlier, right? Like,
fish sanity.
Confidence is so. Well, I just mean in terms of like.
Oh, Mike M just said that. Yes.
Yeah, like that's huge, because it means that you'll put the bait, where you really think the fish is or are multiple. You'll impart the action that maybe knowingly or I mean, the reality of the situation is that we do a lot of things that we don't even realize that we're doing. And if you're around fish and it works, great. If you're not around fish and it's the right action, you'll never know, right? So there's just again those variables, but a contrasting thing. So to feed into that is a lot of the Divine and the Whale, they all have some color schemes where it's like one color on top and one color on bottom. Dude, I love that. I love it. I think the contrast gives. Maybe it's easier to see in my mind. It's
definitely
to see. I know, like when I, as we squirrel off into 50 different directions here. So, I think that it's generally accepted that a lot of anglers, they're always looking for a deal. They're always looking for a sale. And so a thought that I'm sure a lot of you guys have had is like, oh man, what if I just melt down my old plastics? And so like I do that, and I always pour like a different, color here, or y'all layer it, pour 3/4 and then I'll pour the last quarter in. That contrasting color, again, just like Mike said, right? Like confidence is key. And I can't disagree with you.
Yeah, I think colors make a huge part. I think more so than the actual company or the actual, whether it's the speed corral or whatever other corral by, whether it's Zoom or Guggen. I think the color is going to make my difference. And to illustrate that, actually talking about soft plastic, one of the things that I've gotten, and you were commenting, you not long ago, you were commenting on my Instagram page about that. One of the things that I love doing, and it's worked great for me, is throwing a soft plastic frog on a spinner bait.
Oh yeah.
This is the one of the most underrated ways to catch a bass. I don't think people understand how it's easy, especially on a spin cast, or not spin cast, on a spinner setup. It's so easy to just,
I know
you know,
how much you love that Zebco
oh
30
dude.
spin caster, bro.
But the
I know.
difference between, like, I'll show you this. This is the one that really, when I discovered this bait, as far as using, not discovered, but started using it, throwing on a single hook on a spin
Yeah.
setup. I had such great success. I couldn't find this bait, so I bought the ribbit.
Okay. Yeah.
Not a nickel worth of difference. I don't
You know
think, but
what?
I'm gonna
Those.
tell
Hey,
you. Let me tell you first. You know what the huge difference? Because I cannot catch. Not that I have it, but and again, like we said, it could be the time and place. But I do not have even and I'm not sponsored by anybody. I do not have the same success, and I don't think it has to do anything with the kickers. And this is why I think color is important, because I've used the Zoom other colors, but this orange color on the bottom, I think it's one of the most underrated things about this soft plastic. I can't tell you enough. I won't buy a crankbait um, if it doesn't have an orange or red accent on the bottom. And as far as this that goes on the surface, this little orange or reddish accent, like you mentioned,
yeah.
makes a huge difference in the amounts of bites that I'm getting, in my opinion. It
My
could be
my
confidence
favorite.
things, but
Hey, my favorite frogs. And we're talking about frogging, like, you know what I mean, not that. Sorry, wrong side, screen mirrored. Not that frog that you just showed, but like I'm talking frogging. Same principle. All of my favorite frogs that I've gotten, bit on the most, all have, a bright white bottom, bright chartreuse bottom, or a bright, a bright neon green bottom with some speckle. Like, but yes, it's a bright contrasting color to the top. You know, I like John said, right? Confidence is the only thing you can control.
yeah.
I do have the theory of, the red rattle trap, right? Everybody fishes a red rattle trap at a certain time of the year, and they swear by it. And if you like to extrapolate data, right, the reality is if you throw something 90% of
Exactly.
the time during a certain time of the year, and then you attribute the fact that, oh, well, yeah, 90% of my fish come on this thing. Yeah, but you threw it 90% of the time. So, if you're looking at a data set, you're like, there's a correlation between the fact that 9 out of 10 casts you make are with this one specific bait. No wonder 9 out of 10 fish you catch are on that specific bait. What if you threw something else? But as human beings, what we're not interested in doing is saying, well, okay, I'm going to try a different one then, and risk not getting a fish, because it takes a stab at your ego. It takes a stab at your confidence. It takes a stab at that stuff. And I mean, there's something to be spoken of for that. But there's a whole portal of other conversation we could go into about that. So, we've talked about creatures. We've talked about trailers. What about with chatterbait trailers, right?
Oh, don't even start me on that one.
Hey, well,
That's a deep. That's my jam right there.
a lot of people want to talk about, what their favorite chatterbait trailer is. I I know everybody's favorite thing is a Zacho, right? And then it
Yep.
has a tail and it has the movement. it does have a movement, has a pretty specific movement.
Yeah.
It's a proven trailer. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that a lot of people, I think if you took all those anglers and had them throw something else, I have a slight suspicion that potentially they could generate very similar results with a number of different other soft plastic trailers. So, what about bait fuel and scents? Damn, yeah, that's
Well, let me jump on that one because I think I don't know about the whole scented thing. About the scent. There's been studies. I
when
think.
you say that, do you mean that you don't have a lot of not? And this isn't a stab at you. I just using the
No, go
language.
ahead. I don't have any ego, man. You can tell me.
Is that so? When you say that, does that mean that you don't have a lot of confidence one way or the other on scents?
I don't on the sense, no, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't know how true it is, but I've heard recently, what is it? Berkeley invited some of the media people to here in Texas to a seminar, which they wanted to kind of like get the most influential people on social media and talk to them about how they're not copying baits and talking about other products and all
Oh, they're
that.
not
And so
what?
they're not
Oh, they're
copying
not.
baits.
They're not
Anyways,
cop. Oh, they're not copying base.
how it took months to come up with the
I
list and
mean,
stuff
they
like
should
that.
have just
But
at
let's
least they got this.
that's
They should
let's just
at,
I don't want this is why I didn't want to mention it.
at
But
least they were
I should have
inspired by
edited
it.
that. I
Give
should
some
have
credit.
edited that part out.
No, it's okay. We'll
But
give
what
some
they
credit where it's due. At least that
and
much.
and by the way, I wasn't invited to that. Like I'm not this huge social media following. Let's
Well, you
get
knew
that
about
out of
it.
the
I
way.
didn't even know
But
about
I
it.
knew about it from somebody that got invited to it. But one of the things they touched on is like the scents, like the molecules of the some of the scents.
Sure.
Supposedly they are too big. We're talking about microscopic level, but
Microscopic level. Sure.
yeah, they're too big for the bass glands to be able to smell or be able to process that they're smelling something. I don't know how true it is. I don't know the science, but if science
Okay.
says that, that might be true. What I do think is the colors, and I'll give you an example. I was fishing Toledo Bend for the opener of the season of the Hobie BOS. I think it was in 2021 or 2022. Can't remember. I was flipping some docks. I know there were fish there. Like I know, like I can see them on my graph. Side scan, not forward facing sonar. Don't get on my case. And I was flipping. I'm like, I know there's bass in there. It's a secondary point. It's freaking cold. It's full of rocks. It's full of standing timber. It's full of the wood posts from the dock. There's gotta be fish in there. And I'm throwing a craw. I'm working it slow, and it's not working. And I dawned on me. Wait a minute. This is the dawn. I mean, this is the smack in the middle of winter here in Texas, which is usually February. That's when it gets colder. Why am I throwing, if I'm throwing a craw imitation, why I'm not throwing a red craw? I didn't have a red craw handy, so I dipped it into the not JJ Mike, spike it, and I put the the appendages bright red. Same exact spot in next cast, boom. So there is a time and place for colors that work, and it not just contrast, because I don't think the contrast had the water was pretty clear. I think the fish saw it. It's just that accent color.
Can I break down
Sure, go ahead.
specifically like one of the things you said? We've made a lot of assumptions here, but we're going to go down the path based on those assumptions. So, one of the things you heard was that, Berkeley scientists said that, at the molecular level, fish aren't able to smell. Blah, blah,
In
blah.
some, it may not be all of them.
Okay, so
like synthetics, and let me correct that. It's not that they can't smell. It's some of the synthetic that is being used, the artificial synthetic that is being used in some of these scented, either infused scented baits or pre-manufactured like Spike It. That's why they can't supposedly smell. There's a difference between organic, smell of a fish and something that's synthetic that are molecules.
Let me tell you,
Right.
I spilled some red Spike It on a pair of my pants like 6 washes ago, and I can still smell the garlic. So if those molecules are so
Yeah.
small that I can still smell it 6 washes later, my wife fucking hates it when I wash those pants because, yeah, you got to run like a rinse cycle after. It's terrible. Um, I mean,
And,
I feel like that's such a strong sense. SENSE, right? Not sense, SCENTS. But I feel like it is such a strong sense for them in terms of survival that it absolutely so it does play. I mean, there's a scent that I like. It's made by Bass Dynasty. No scientific proof has ever been presented to me that they didn't go down and get some freaking barbecue sauce and then just add some shit into it. Like that's, but that's what it looks like. And I like it because, man, it stays, I can make 15, 20 casts and still detect me, right? Oh, it's still on there. I don't see any more of it really, it leaves a film or whatever the case. I can smell it though. Okay, so there's that. You gotta, Mondo, I mean, I'll tell you, there's probably some people in the comments that are a lot smarter, a lot more knowledgeable
oh
about
yeah.
some of this stuff. So, like, Big Bass Dreams, right? Oil-based scents and other scents, do nothing more than mask the scent we leave on the baits after handling them. And that's, I mean, I've heard, because I still subscribe to Bassmaster Magazine. I still read, print, all that different stuff. And, some of the anglers that have and put powder uh, on their baits, they do it every cast. And the thought behind that is to mask any smell of your oils. And I mean, there's a lot to that. I'm confident in Spike It for color.
Yeah.
Don't know if I believe in the garlic scent thing. There have been studies that say, hey, garlic turns off big bass, blah, blah, blah. And then you go catch one. It's like, it's one of those things where it's very tough. You have to go on your own personal, write your own personal book on it. But then there are, things like the Bass Dynasty stuff. And I don't mind like telling y'all about it because, last place I saw it had like 6 bottles. I bought them all. There was an Amazon guy selling it. He had 4 bottles. I bought them all. So I don't know where y'all going to go get it. So I'm not really worried about all of a sudden somebody fishing all the same stuff. But, it's one of those deals where I see something on live or I see it on side scan. I go cast in that area. I'll generally start, I will say this, with soft plastics. I'm going to try without first. If I'm fishing a new area or I'm covering a lot of water, if there's not already something that has told me I need to be doing something, like out at Caddo, right? There's a specific plastic that reacts a very specific way to one of the colors of Spike It. It's a very specific thing. And I've cast into an area, 4 or 5 times, nothing, dip it, cast, bite. So I can't deny that to my personal experience, but like tomorrow, right? Like when we're fishing the river, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna put any scent on any of that. If I go an hour with no bites, yeah, I'm gonna lather it up. And the terrible part of that is that if all of a sudden I get a bite or two, it's gonna cement in my brain like, oh, you have to use it. But that's the way that stuff works, right? Is that you use it, you get a positive result. I mean, again, creatures of habit, right? Oh, I don't know if you lost me or I lost you
No,
audio
I
wise.
was moving a lot of stuff here, so I muted
There you
myself.
go.
Started, but and again, I appreciate everybody commenting. TJ, Big Bass Dreams, Mike, and by no means don't think that what I'm telling you is the Bible and what's true and what's not true. Just
They
based
know it's
on
not.
we're just based on some of the stuff we've heard and some of our experience. If it works for you, by all means, keep doing what works for you. Don't listen to us. But I do think that of at least what I've heard a lot was, and I don't know that this really affects. I never understood this, but a lot of people say, well, the scent is more for like brings a flavor to the bass and keeps them from holding the bait longer. Which to
And
me is like, how long are you taking to set the
here's
hook?
yeah,
You
here's my
have
argument.
that you're giving it. I mean, I know sometimes the bite may be subtle and you don't feel it, but all this like, well, it's just so they won't spit the bait out. How long are you taking to set the hook?
I mean, I'll
Because
play
I feel
both.
the bait, I'm setting the hook. I'm not giving it a chance to
Yeah, so
to
I'll play both sides of the pond there for you, right? So on one side of the pond is like, man, I have found so many Zoom non-scented flukes in fishes, broken off in fishes' mouths, right? Those aren't scented. I didn't know it was a misconception. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he's like, "Well, I get the heavily salted ones, so it tastes different to the fish." Um, I could be wrong, right? But salt in a bait it's a buoyancy thing. It's not
yeah,
so that they taste it and it's flavorful. Um, but yeah, so that was a misconception. So like the Zoom Super Salt Plus, well, yeah, it's more heavily salted so that it sinks at a faster rate. Anywho, that's that deal. Um, but then as far as did they have it in their mouth long enough? I mean, Guggen baits have the garlic action. If you've ever had to bite a piece off, like they're heavily scented or flavored, whatever. Berkeley, same thing. The max scent stuff, same thing. And the theory is that that bass is gonna put it in his mouth and not just instantly reject it, because that's the reality of the situation, right? When a bass bites something, they either accept it as they've consumed forage, or they reject it as in they reject it. Not I don't know the 10,000 reasons why they spit your bait.
yeah,
But they either, yes, they accept it as they've eaten a piece of forage, or they reject it as in they're just not going to eat your shit. But they do have it in their mouth. I mean, we've seen enough underwater footage that proves to us that they do. That it doesn't always just go right down the crushers. So, is it made to catch fishermen or fish?
yeah,
I I do believe personally in scents and flavors. Uh, maybe buying you an extra half a second before you figure out, am I snagged on a tree, or is that a fish that has my jig, right? And you swing on it, and you either end up finding out that you're stuck in a tree, or you hooked into a good fish. So, it's give more time for the hook set. Yeah, I think that, I mean, TJ, that's
yes,
like that's the Berkeley motto, right? Like the
yeah.
fish hold on 10 times longer.
Which I always wonder, like, where the science? What? Tell me what the scientific research is on that, because I hate it when there's like 10.
I would be
What's
pretty
why
easy.
that's a specific number? Like, and by
Yeah.
the way, again, let's for those that are listening, we don't want to spark a debate on. What we're telling you is not what doesn't work. If what
Hey
you're
man,
doing
this
works,
ain't this
works.
ain't this
This
ain't
is about
financial
what we
info.
worked, and maybe you haven't thought about it or you haven't done it,
Yeah.
and it'd be maybe a good idea to try it. So I know we've kind of like made fun a little bit on Six Sense and Berkeley, not Six Sense. I'm sorry, on Berkeley and Pure Fishing for that matter. But I do give him credit for something, because yes, the Nessie, but let me tell you something. This has become my favorite soft plastic swim bait, and this is not a confidence thing. I sometimes there's confidence, like whether you throw a Yum Dinger or a Senko, that's confidence. Whether you throw a Seiko or some other soft plastic trailer that looks like a Senko, I'll say that I'll give you the benefit of that doubt. That is confidence. But every now and then there comes a bait that I think like makes a difference, and it's because it looks and it acts like a bait and it will attract it. And let me tell you something. I'm not sponsored by Berkeley. Their little gilly, my God. And I'll give him props to this sign, because this sign is very intricate. it is perfectly designed. If you look, all the rivets on this side, it has like the not dorsal fin, but the side fin. It has also on the back the movement on this bait. If
I
you throw
noticed
it on,
it has the anal fin on the bottom too. Did you
yes,
point that
it
out?
the movement on this. I've swung this around bluegill beds,
Oh
and
yeah.
you can almost can't tell the difference
You were throwing that at
between.
PK when we were out.
Dude,
When we
it
were at the
is.
PK, that's what you were throwing.
Oh, I throw this out. I throw it everywhere, but at PK, this was doing amazing, especially on clear water where you don't really need to stand out because the fish can see it.
A
They
thing.
can see, they have 5, 10 feet of visibility. They can see it. And that's where it benefits. You don't need to throw a black and blue to create contrast. You don't need to throw a chartreuse swim bait. You just need to throw something because they can clearly see it that it imitates the best a fish or their bait as much as possible. And if anybody hasn't tried the gilly, I'm not sponsored by Berkeley. I give him crap for the other stuff, the copying thing with the Nessie, but credit where credit is due. I think this is one of the most perfectly and most intricate designs on a swim bait, and since I've started using them, and by the way, the way you use them, you can watch. I learned this from Christine Fisher.
Yeah.
Um,
She fishes them a lot.
what do you call it? A gamakatsu. It's not a split shot hook, although you can use that one. It's the one with that huge. It's kind of like a man. I wish I had it here, but it has a big gap. So I just nose it, put a little net rig weight from Z-Man, and fishes. It swims really straight. When it goes down, it looks like because the weight is right here underneath the gill. It looks like it is a fish
Dying.
that is feeding on the bottom. And I'm telling you right now, if you haven't used it, I highly recommend it. More than a confidence bait, I think it's just the fact that it looks so good and the action is so natural that I would highly recommend it. What did you want?
No, I've never thrown it in my entire life. And that's not a knock on it. I mean, we were out at
yes, Mike M. Nose hook. That's what I meant to say. I apologize.
Yeah, through the nose with a little weight. Do you use tungsten or lead?
The one that the Ned nails from Z-Man. Because that way you can use the other ones, the lead ones, that are just like a nail without no head. But the problem is, sometimes you put it a little bit awkward and it kind of starts swinging to the side. When you put the net, you can actually see that it went right through the middle because it has that little nail head. And also, I have different weights on it. I have the 1/16, the 1/8, and the 1/4. So depending on the depth that I'm trying to fish it, I'll change out that nail head. You can also put like a little screw lock on the nose, dig it all the way down, and then run the hook through the eye of that screw lock, and that'll keep it. That'll last longer.
Some of my
octopus hook. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, I was about to.
It's a big round guy. Yeah, with the G Crack Neko hack. I know. Well, I was hoping I was going to bring my G Crack stuff up north. Fishing spot. Supposed to fish Hubbard tomorrow and Texoma Saturday. There's a good plastic hack, right? Like if you've been watching for an hour and 3 minutes and you're like, holy smokes, I haven't learned jack diddly.
Probably haven't, because we get on subject.
We
get on debates and
a bunch of degenerates. That's all you are, a bunch of degenerates. So if you take a screw lock, right, and you can go to your local tackle shop, and you can buy typically a bulk pack, like a 25 pack. Man, take your screw lock, right, and the part that would normally go onto the hook, that's what I hold. I'll take my plastic bait and I'll screw that in just exactly where I want to put my little weight. And I like the 1/16 or 1/32 ounce tungsten nails. Yeah, I'll slide it in where that screw lock is. It goes perfectly straight and it stays there. It locks it in. I don't lose it. Anywho, at the end of the fishing trip, I usually end up with a bunch of chunks of plastic in my fishing backpack because I'll just tear them out and put them in there. But that's a great way to, if for whatever reason you have problems with your little nail weights plopping out, or you're like me and think that you need to use tungsten. It's not as cheap as lead, and you don't want to lose a bunch of them. That's a way to keep them longer. But get creative with all that different stuff. So I figured, and don't know what you're talking about. Hey, man, I'm not trying to get banned on social media. Ain't worried about it. Natural. I got natural immunity. And so, oh my God, this guy. Hey, your channel exposure just went down the tank because he said the C word. No, I'm just kidding. So there's those little hacks, right? So your octopus hook, your weight in the nose. We talked about boot tails, talked about the different swim baits, the action on those, whether it's your, big tail that sways back and forth, or it's your tail that has a tight wobble. Talked about all the reasons to go back and watch this episode. Talked about, creature baits, lizards, brush, hog wallow, whatever. Big skinny appendages that are made to flail versus, like the OSP or the Bronco bug, knockoff, where it's just a subtle flap movement versus like a flailing movement. Those are all reasons to pick different plastics. And again, this isn't like not anything I'm sponsored by, but I do have some friends that, aren't really in a position to be buying new plastics all the time. And, they could still throw around a ribbon tail worm and get bit on a Texas rig. And for those of you who are watching who have a, your boss keeps you on a tight fishing budget, or life is the way it is for a lot of Americans right now. Anywho, seriously, this stuff right here is awesome. I won't even name the name of the company. You could just go look up plastic fishing molds and look it up, because I'm not affiliated with them or anything like that. But there was a little microwave on Facebook Marketplace, like 2 blocks from me. And it was like, hey, free, it'll be on the curb. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna swing by and pick that thing up. So I got a free little cheap microwave, right, off Facebook Marketplace. Go to Big Lots, get you a little $2 glass microwave safe cup, and save all your plastics, repour them. And if I were going to recommend one plastic mold, so like if I'm at the store, if I'm at a tackle shop, if I'm at Walmart, wherever I'm at, and I see, that look when you see somebody looking at fishing tackle and they're just like clueless, right? I mean, guys like you and me, we hide it better, but like new fishermen, they're very, very obvious that they're clueless. Like I said, we hide it real good, but those new ones, they're not so good at hiding, the fact that they can't read the mind of a fish. And I always try to get them on like a 4/0 worm hook, 1/4 ounce bullet weight, and a paddle tail worm. And so, if it adds any value to the conversation tonight, get you a ribbon tail mold, because let's face it, there's a kid on a dock somewhere with an old zip code 33, and all he throws is a 10-inch power worm all year long, and he's caught a bigger fish than you on it. So just saying. Oh, your audio cut out again.
I'm sorry. Let me tell you something. It's nothing more humbling than fishing and watching that veteran on the bank throwing a Sepco spin cast with a little inline spinner and completely knocking him out of the ballpark, and you are with your $15 chatterbait and can't get a bite. And it has happened.
Yep.
It has happened more times than, and it's an ego crusher, but hey, man, it happens, man.
There is a direct correlation. I think I say this because, I've got a buddy of mine, and his boss has him on a tight budget, and so I tell him all the time, I say, save all your plastics. And the equation is this, right? You spend more time on the water,
Mm-hmm.
you should be able to catch more fish. And so for running a split shot and a curly tail worm, boy, and he brings them in a big old stringer, and all y'all professional bass fishermen cry river on social media when they bring in 5 fish and freaking, oh, you're killing the population. Anyway, very different story. I cringe when I see 6 to 8 pound bass on a stringer too, but
Dude, don't
if you
even get
eating
me
them, you
started.
eating them. You eating them. They're a
Hey,
live animal. Uh, but yeah, that's save your plastics. Inevitably, most of mine that I pour end up looking like, and I don't sell them. None of that. This is like for me. I do giveaways and stuff where I'm like, hey, here's a bag of ribbon-tail worms. They all
yeah.
end up looking some sort of root beer color, some sort of green with red flake. Like that's, when all the plastics that you throw are a certain color, your remelts will look the same. But I don't know,
Speaking
man.
of one of the trailers that I wanted to talk about, which I just throw in a chat, we're talking about it, got it off subject, but I think this is one of Seiko is one of my favorite ones. But when I want a lot of movement, the striking, it's not I think it's the rage tail, right? This one is the rage bug, the other one's the rage tail, and there's the rage swimmer. I think this is called the rage tail. This twin
Yeah.
action, and again, it has that little ridge on the back, which gives it that huge action. If you haven't thrown a chatterbait, I personally love the jackhammer, but you can try any one of them that you feel confident. But try to throw it on clear water. If you have a pool in your house or in your community, throw it. Put this on. A lot of people like to put it like this, like the tails are gonna be looking up. I like to put it sideways. Watch the action and watch how you're every now and then, every few seconds, depending on how fast you reel it. That chatterbait, especially that jackhammer, will go like zoom, zoom, boom, zoom, boom, and it's that actions. And to me, a lot of times, my personal opinion, I've seen it on Clearwater, Possum Kingdom, Lake Whitney, which is really clear. I
Mhm.
see when I see a big face of a fish, I'm sorry, chasing it. And as soon as it does that little like whoop to the side, that's when the bass pounce on it. And I highly recommend if you haven't tried a rage tail as a trailer. And again, we're not sponsored. I'm not saying this is the best one. I'm not saying you have to throw this. I'm just saying be open-minded. If you have never thrown it, try it. They're not expensive. Rage tails are not one of those expensive that I can remember. Soft plastic, but it is great. It is a great trailer that adds a lot of action. Rage Minute. Thank you, TJ.
There you go.
I'm doing such a horrible job with the names, but yes, it is a Rage Menace. The name of it. And another one that I like to use as a trailer for the chatterbait. It's simply a fluke. I when the bite is especially on cold weather when I don't need a lot of movement, it's just more of a subtle presentation. I just bite the head off of a fluke, and I just match the skirt or the pattern of the chatterbait that I'm using with the fluke. Kind of combine it. Um,
You ever throw
and it,
pin? Just use
yeah,
a just use a pintail.
yeah, and
Yeah,
it works amazing because
yeah.
again, that thing is gonna be going up and down, up and down. Mike M says, "There you go, Armando. That's all I use: Ray Chunk, Rage Bug, and Rage Shield." I've one of the things that I've done is I've streamlined soft plastic. Now, being with the Dark Horse stock line, we get a lot of soft plastic, so I'm able to try other stuff. But me personally, if I'm not, I've just gone to the point where I buy pretty much trailers for the Seikos. Like I'll buy 2 or 3 colors, different patterns. One red imitation for craw, one white imitation for the Bee Light or Bee Height Delight,
Beehive
um,
delight.
and one for the black and blue. And the fourth one for when I want to imitate bluegill, so a green one with the chartreuse tails. And then the same thing with the Rage Menace. And then that's it as far as trailers for my jackhammers or chatterbaits. Now let me ask you this. Let's go through a rundown real quick, and I want to get your opinion on this. I'm going to tell you each one. Soft plastic swim bait, soft plastic trailer, soft plastic creature bait. You can only pick one. Can be any color, but one brand or one specific model. Let's start with a trailer. If you can only choose one trailer for your chatterbaits, what trailer would you use, regardless of the colors?
6 cents juggle minnow.
Nice. One
for
soft
chatterbait.
For chatterbait, yeah. One soft plastic creature bait. Like you can only use one soft plastic creature bait. What would you choose?
Guggen trench hog.
Oh my god! How dare you? Over a Zoom brush hogs? I don't know about that, man. All right, and one soft plastic swim bait. Which one would you choose?
6 cents whale.
Nice. You're a big 6 Sense fan, aren't you?
Confidence based on catch. I mean, yeah.
You're
left out is
you're a MMFer.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love when he shits all over people that are like, oh, he's a YouTuber, and I'm like, you fucking didn't qualify through the elites on your first try either. So,
yeah.
One that you left out too was yes, chatterbait trailer, but what about jig trailer?
Jig trailer, yes.
Y'all still throw? I don't know, all y'all forward facing sonar kids, y'all still throw jigs, or is that
they don't?
Thing of the
they
past?
Don't. Just the Mickey rig. That's all they throw.
The Mickey rig.
We're playing. Don't get your panties in a bunch.
Dead serious, folks.
We're playing. By the way, we're almost about to end the giveaway. #giveaway to enter our giveaway. We're gonna pick 3 winners. We have some gift cards for kayak accessories. We from Mariner Sales. We have gift card for Dark Horse Tackle, and we have a bunch of accessories we're also going to give out. It's going to be 3 winners to #giveaway. If you can't stay till the end, just come back, listen, see if you won, and then if you did, just message me and let me know what your address is. You can message me, preferably on whatever platform you use. If you're watching on Facebook, message me through Facebook, so I know it's the same person. If you're doing Instagram, the message from Instagram I got Eli, I got you, and I got Easymon. Also, I got you on the giveaway, and on YouTube you can't message me, so message me another way.
So did you already go through? You already got all the people entered on the YouTube?
I think so.
You got Wolf of Walmart on there.
I got him. TJ Atkins.
By the way, all the homies in the chat, I appreciate you coming out and talking some trash tonight. I love it.
Anthony Griffith, Blake Tebin. I'm probably mispronounced your last name, so I apologize. Mike M, Carl Wells, Eli Self, I just mentioned, Brian Elias, and Andy Leonard, TJ, and Easyman.
Yeah, I had a lot of homies in the live chat tonight. That's
so if I'm missing one of you, please. Let me scroll down. If I'm missing one of you, please let me know. Who else do I got? All right. Which one is this one? I've never heard this one. Paca chunk of jigs.
Oh, the Bacca. No, yeah, okay. So the chunk. Wait, where are you reading that? But I mean, a chunk. Are you talking about chunk trailer? Yeah, chunk trailer. Bro, that's the pig fat, like the old OG.
Oh yeah.
It's 2 triangles cut out, and it's a chunk trailer.
I heard I heard people swear that that's the best one.
I mean, like I said, so don't take my word for it. Take 2-time Bassmaster, blah blah. Iaconelli swears by a chunk in the cold winter months, and again, results, right? Like, do catches fish. So all I can take from that is that, again, I split the year kind of into 2 years. I'm like, they're active and they're not so active. They're energetic and they're lethargic. So, here we are, getting into the fall. We had our first kind of round of, dude, the weather, by the way, I don't know if y'all haven't been out fishing lately and you need an excuse to fish, like, dude, these storms start stirring up things, man. I won't get into that.
Monday, finally, it's gonna go back below 90. Can't believe
it. I'm excited. I'm excited to go fish tomorrow, man.
Oh, you are? Where you got? Because I'm probably gonna go out tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going So tonight was supposed to be Levon for Working Man's, but I wanted to come and see your beautiful face, and then tomorrow be Hubbard, go run up the river, and then Saturday will be Texoma.
All right.
Net bait Paca Chunk. Yep, that's a oh.
Anyway,
trying to think of the plastic that's it, dude. It comes in like a jar of gel.
yeah, I know. That's I thought that was the one you're talking about. Yes, I've seen it at where is that place that I seen it? Man, I don't know if Fun and Sun Tackle still has him. I haven't seen him. Oh, Anglers Pro. Seen it at Anglers Pro.
Okay.
They have it, yeah. So anyways, we're 1 hour and 20 minutes. So let's do the giveaway. How about that? Last chance, anybody that has not. Let me see. Am I missing anybody? Albert, if you're there, you haven't put hashtag. Have you? Dustin Hoy. I don't know if you're still there, Dustin. If you push hashtag giveaway. Blake, I got Blake. Anthony Griffith, I got. Fish Insanity, I didn't see that he put any hashtag. If you are there, hashtag giveaway so we can add you. That's it. I guess give it a couple of giveaway. My Chaotic Fishing. Come on, dude. All right, let's do this. I don't even know how this works. This is the first time doing this. Now, Eli, if you don't win the gift cards for Mariners, so you might not win or you might win. But just in case, I'm not going to give you the Dark Horse Tackle one because you're already sponsored by Dark Horse Tackle. But just FYI, Sakurai will kill me if I give it to you. Let's get this done. Present. Big Joshies. We did talk about the Big Joshies. Uncle Joshies, I think. Thinking of Uncle Josh. Is that the one you're thinking about? The pork thing?
Pork chunk, yes.
Uncle, is it that one? Uncle Joshies?
No. I mean, it's the same design for everybody. It's just a big old chunk. There we go.
All right, let's see who we got.
So
this is a $50 gift card. $50 gift card. TJ Atkins. TJ, message me on Facebook. I guess that's where you're watching, so I can give you the address. So I can just meet your Mariners sales. All right, let's do next giveaway. It's another gift card, $50 gift card for Mariners sales. Again, if you don't live in Texas, you can buy online. They have the biggest inventory on kayaks and kayak accessories. So go check them out. Shout out to Mariners sales. They're gonna have pretty soon. They're gonna have a demo day also. Blake, that's one of your buddies.
No, I'm stoked for people.
So we got Blake. Blake, you were one of the winners. Message me, DM me on Facebook. I think you were watching, or whatever were you watching on Facebook? I think so. And then
guess I'm Blake on YouTube.
Yes. So message me, DM me on Facebook. Send me your address and I'll mail you the gift card. And last but not least, this is gonna be we're gonna give out a gift card for Dark Horse Tackle, $25. We're also gonna add a RoboHawk. We're also gonna add some rod socks from Douglas Rods on top of the $25 gift card. So let's see what we got. And Eli, you're out of it. So just FYI. Bet you he's gonna win it. Ooh, Mike M looks like he got it.
That's awesome.
Mike, same thing. Everybody's from Facebook, so good. So Mike, send me a DM again on Facebook. Give me your address. And
Mike literally just said congrats to TJ on YouTube, and then he won.
There you go.
I'm just
good
saying,
karma.
y'all need to. There's so much BS negativity on social media these days, right? Let's just be stoked for people. And that's awesome, dude.
All right, so that's it. Any way I can convince you to go to Bodog tomorrow instead of University? Yeah.
Probably not gonna. No, just because I haven't been up the river on Hubbard in a minute, and with all this water flowing into there, I'm hopefully excited to just fucking throw a jig on 30-pound braid all day and freaking yank on him. I'd already committed. Specifically, the guy even told me, he's like, man, just full disclosure, I have somebody else that hasn't responded. And I said, well, let me know when you want to lock me in, because there's a couple of options that I got for tomorrow. And so then he locked me in. So I don't want to back out on, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you know what? I forgot. Let me do one more giveaway. I got the catch boards. I'm going to split this. I'm going to do another catch board. So another fourth winner, since we got it here. Eli, did you get it? Did you get it? Oh, Eli, you were so close. Eli, Brian Elias. So Brian, if you're watching, I forgot. It's going to be a catch board for you. So send me a message on Facebook as well. Give me your address. I'm going to Rangers game tomorrow, Armando, or I would hit Bodak with you. Yeah, man. I've been trying to figure out that lake. It's been tough. I've gone there 3 times and I only caught 4 fish. I got some good intel. So my buddy Jason Borofka, who I was co-hosting with KBN, got to talk to him after the show. He's an expert on apparently on Bodak. So let's see what he told me.
Man, I've never actually. So I've interacted with Jason on social media.
Great guy.
Funny story. Him and I lived in the same city in California for years. This is obviously a long time ago. I've been in Texas for like almost 15 years now, but Salinas, California. But I've never met the guy in person. I know he's a stick. Actually, I think his wife is a stick on Hubbard. They were out fishing as a team. Did you see that? So Lake Ray Hubbard has Tuesday nighters, and him and his wife would go out and fish the Tuesday nighters. And they figured it out. They followed them fish, and they had quite a streak going. I think there was like even one where she fished by herself and still won, something like that. I don't know. It was impressive that them as a team and then her to go out and just do the same, rip on them again. So, yes, very fishy people. If Jason is giving you knowledge, I'm absolutely going to protest you for the championship out there. That is in violation of the information rule. Listen, it's not just old dudes that can complain about rule violations. Okay, us young
got Randy Blogger here, guys.
We can know old Gerald Swindle. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, no, they're that's dope. I've been having a lot of fun out there, dude. I've had good days. I've had bad days.
You can't pay me enough to fish for Hubbard. Every time I either work or because I'm fishing on East Texas and I drive through Hubbard and I see that caravan of jet skiers and pleasure boaters. What is that highway that goes right through Hubbard? I can't remember.
30?
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you cannot pay me enough to get on a kayak on that lake. Hell no.
There's plenty of areas. No, tomorrow's on a boat. There are lots of good kayak areas. I mean, the dead of summer is you got to deal. It's easier fishing in the middle of summer out there, but you got to deal. Yes.
Fish insanity is just about chaos, man. That is awesome.
Yes. Oh, dude,
that'd be great.
I would love to do that. But yeah, that's definitely during the summer. You get out on your road beds and all that stuff. It's easy fishing. Well, not easy, but it's good fishing. You just got to deal with the boats. But during the winter, man, I'm excited to take the knowledge I've gained since last winter and apply it. I don't know. When you're constantly learning and you're constantly thinking about those things, you're excited for the next season because you know all the knowledge that you've gained and retained between this time last year and now it's exciting. It's exciting for me, at least. Like Mike says, forward facing this fall. Hey, I mean, if they're not just jumping in your boat as soon as you turn it on, just return that shit. Tell them it's defective, right? It's not working. No, but learning differences between trash fish. You know who? Another shameless plug. Go to the Lake Pro Tackle YouTube page. Sam just put up a really good
I like that channel. Honestly,
breakdown. Yeah, I mean Sam, he's
cool dude.
he's a he's a minor pinger. He's a minor pinger, but he's really
I
good
have
at it.
no idea what it is, and I'm afraid to ask.
A minor pinger?
Yes,
You ain't never heard the term pinging a minnow?
is
Like a
that from
minnow?
California?
No, bro, it's about as southern as it gets. It's a minnow.
Really?
A minnow. You know a minnow?
Yeah.
Like a minnow that you fish with, and people say you're pinging a minnow. I just say it with my southern twang, you pinging a minnow. Forward facing sonar, right? Throwing a ball head jig.
Oh, that's why. Because I'm not a forward fishing sonar guy. Not that I hate it. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. Just saying
Nah.
I don't use it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm saying I don't use it. I don't have nothing against it. Nothing against it. I don't think it has a place in the elites, but that's my opinion.
I mean, my very first time out at Boat Arc, when I had zero intent of doing a whole lot of fishing, I went out just graphing on my kayak, and I had side scan out 100 feet, and I saw this big old mark in a tree, and I was like, suspended catfish in a tree? Nah. And the first rod I grabbed had a like half ounce 6 cents swing shake. It's a big shaky head, 4/0 hook. I had a big fat like 6-inch shaky head worm, a fat one. I said, I'm gonna see what it does, dude. My very first fish out of Boat Arc ever, just cruising along, saw it on side scan, was like, I gotta see what it is. Dropped my I got LVS 34 on there, looked at it, threw it, and it was like, you see the little bait, going down. There's the mark, and it was like going down, and all of a sudden, like, it wasn't going down no more, and I was like, okay, lean back on it, and it fucking leaned back on me. I said, man, that was my very first Boat Arc experience. So 6.5 pounder off a shaky head, suspended. It's 12 feet deep in 21 feet of water in a tree.
Yeah, man, I've been trying everything on Boat Arc. I'll figure it out. But interesting, like, but it's so much stuff because it's such newly flooded that it's like still a lot of stuff that hasn't completely deteriorated. So there's like everything looks fishy and not fishy at the same time. That's interesting. Like,
it's fun, man. Both the offshore stuff and it's being on a boat. Obviously, the efficiency in which you can cover water is monumental in relative to on a kayak. But I mean, if I have any inclination, just go back in the trees, get on the Texas Parks website. If you want to go out Main Lake, they've got like 50. You want waypoints? You don't got to pay for waypoints. Go on the Texas Parks website. They got like 50 waypoints out there for you. Look, he muted.
Again, I'm sorry. I downloaded the waypoints for one specific lake. It wasn't even Boat Arc. And I didn't realize I downloaded it for every Texas lake. So when I got to Boat Arc, I used it at that like I think it was, what lake did I download? I think it was Possum. Yeah, it was Possum Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I got all the waypoints that were there. And I was like, oh, cool. So when I got to Boat Arc, I'm like, how am I getting so many waypoints? I've never fished this lake before. And then now offshore ones I've gone, and they're pretty accurate. They're like, oh yeah, that's exactly, because it doesn't say what it is once, at least not on the Garmin. It just says
so not on the Garmin, but if you do it you can do it on your phone, and it'll tell you like it's a log pile, it's a crumbled rock bed or whatever it is. I mean, it's a starting point, right? It's a starting point. At the end of the day, you're just trying to figure out the fish behavior, and from there, the rest is up to you. But so let me ask you a question. Tomorrow, you're going to Boat Arc.
I thinking I'm going to Boat Arc. I mean, I don't know if I want to wait till a little bit till the weather goes down and go again on the week, or go to tomorrow.
I mean, you might go tomorrow. Have a really good day. So let me ask you a question. Are you going Main Lake? Or are you going to the forest?
I've done the forest. So the first day I went to the south ramp, and I thought I was going to go to up the river because again, you see it I hadn't seen it there personally. And the last time I saw it, which was driving to one of my favorite lakes close to there, it looked great. But now that it's a lot more, what? Yeah, do not mention that lake. Do not mention that lake. Um, but now that it's a lot flooded, it's like, oh, that river is not that creek that it used to be when I first saw it. So I was trying to go upriver, but I'm like, nah. So I went to the forest upriver. Didn't get upriver a lot. I couldn't get anything. Went back to the ramp, got some at the ramp. Then the next day, I went to the southeast ramp, which is closer
To the dam.
to the dam. I caught one, same thing. No, I caught two. I caught one on jigs on standing timber, and I caught one. Was it on a no on the? I caught one on the chatterbait. On no, I'm trying to confuse. No, I caught one on grass on the Berkeley Gilly, and then the last time I went, which was Monday. Yeah, I went Monday. I went to the north ramp and I fished. I tried to fish offshore, couldn't get anything offshore. Didn't see a lot of fish on side scan offshore.
Hmm.
And then I was throwing kind of like a little ball head jig, and I tried actually I tied that Rage Menace, and I was fishing it on like 20 feet deep, and then I was like, offshore bite is not working for me. Let me go back to the brush, and I started throwing that through brush, and I actually got a bite on it, doing that little ball jig and swimming that little striking Rage Menace.
Yeah.
I caught one, which is interesting. I want to bring somebody from either Jason Borofka, who I was talking about this. He has a lot of knowledge on the genetics of bass because I guess Bordark is one of the places now, one of two or three lakes where they're actually releasing the Lone Star bass, which is
Yeah.
the genetically whatever hybrid between the F1 and which is the
And the
Florida
Sri
spring
Lankers.
bass, yeah, and the
Yeah.
Sri Lankers.
Mhm.
So he
There's a number you can go on to. It's so crazy. Like sometimes I talk to people and it's like, ooh,
Well,
things are
before you finish that thought, let me
okay.
finish what I was going to tell you
Sorry,
because I'm
sorry,
going to
sorry.
lose it. So I want to do an episode on that, on the genetics, not necessarily where they are, but just how they Texas Wildlife Department decided to go, make this bass, this genetic bass, which I think it's fascinating, science talk. But my point is, I caught this bass. Have you heard about in Brazil? They have the Dorado, which is like this fish that has like this helmets type head. Like it looks like a huge trout. So I caught this bass and I thought my GoPro on the front of my camera, on the front of my kayak was on. Actually would turn off because it got overheated. So I didn't realize that I didn't actually take a video of it
Standard.
I got it from the side and I'm gonna post it on Instagram from the GoPro on the back of the kayak. But the one in front, that's when I talk about how weird this bass is because it actually looks like a trout. And why I say that it's because it's long and it has this oval or rounded head, kind of like a trout, where
Yeah.
and I was talking to Jason Borofka about it, and he was a guy's really smart and really knowledgeable. He was explaining to me, and I'm sure I'm not explaining it the same efficient way that he was, but he was telling me that has something to do with the bass growing, from what I understood, and he probably said it right, and I'm just misinterpreting the information because I'm not smart when it comes to biology. But that the bass was growing faster than it normally would grow, and that's where
So
they get their heads kind of like
they round up. So
round up.
like
It was really I've never seen a bass like that before.
yeah,
It's the
so
first
you
time I
look
see
at
that.
you look at the bone structure of a fish, you look at the rate of growth, and over years, right, genetically, right, a fish will try to grow in such a way that presents the most optimal body shape for them to continue to be a predator to forage. And when you subvert that, right, and you introduce genetics of fish that have lived in different environments, have different growth rates, right, different heat periods, different cold periods, all that different stuff, dude, I'm absolutely enthralled by that stuff. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's you're talking in theory in regards to a lot of things. There are a lot of things that they have science and metrics behind it to prove certain things, but then I like the in theory conversation. I love it. I have an opinion on it. I want to hear your opinion. Like those types of
Yeah.
conversations. I love that stuff because unless you've gone out and there's like even with these newer strains of bass that are multiple generations deep, all that different stuff. Like they know they have, there is a certain level of predictability in what they're doing, in what the outcome, will be. And I mean, for a lake like Bodark, to me, it goes hand in hand, right? You've got these fish that have genetics that are a hybrid of, the sheer size of the fish, the growth potential. And then on the other side, you have, these genetics of a, fairly rapid growth rate, which, and if you've heard the podcast before where you could look at a bass's life as a certain number of heartbeats, right? And so the up north fish, they live longer, but they don't get as big because it's colder, their heart rate's slower. Whereas down here, we have a more optimal growth season, right? The seasons of our weather versus the period of time during the year in which a bass will, grow at a more rapid pace. And you put them in a place like Bodark that just seemingly has unlimited cover for the forage base there. It's a recipe for something special. Like, I know there's a lot more knowledgeable people. There's a lot more experienced people. There's a lot better anglers. I'm trash compared to people who do
You're
speak
not
on and
trash.
can speak on this, but like there are some log piles out at Bodark in like 30 feet of water that are like 20 feet tall. A huge, like if a big bass is down in there, you ain't getting it.
Yeah.
But to think about the potential output of that lake based on the ingredients that it has, I don't know. It makes a spicy pickle though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
By the
it's
way, Mike, I'm asking Armando, any chance you plan on doing a smallmouth transition show? You know what, Mike? I'll do it because I'm all about uh, everybody, about what the people want. So now, Mike, my question is it that you want to learn on it, or is it you are proficient in this subject and you want to join the podcast as a guest to talk about it? So either one I will do. So let me know in the comment section if it's just that you want me to do one with somebody that's very knowledgeable on it, or do you have the knowledge and you want to share it. Either one I am 100% willing to do, and we have to do it before the fall transition gets here, of course.
Hey, and speaking of smallmouth too, man, like you didn't fish Susquehanna, right? Like you didn't go to
No, man, I really wanted to. You know what it is? Before you go on, I've gone to a point. I was talking to Ryan Lambert about this before we did the live show on Monday on KBN. I think him and I had gone to a point where it's like, listen, we love this, but I am not gonna miss out on great on opportunities to spend time with my family and friends
Oh
just
yeah,
because I
sure.
want to shoot a tournament. I used to do that a couple of years ago. This year, Cato, Bassmaster at Cato 2 days. I really wanted to go. One of my best friend is having a 15-year anniversary. He lives in Florida, so he invited me to go over there. And I'm like, man, as much as I want to go to Cato, I don't want to miss opportunity to spend time with friends that I haven't seen in years.
Yeah.
So I'm at that point where if I can make it, I'll make it, but I'm no longer stop doing stuff that I love to do just
No,
because I'm
it's
going to fish a
hey, and it's
tournament.
not even that. It's just the way we
Uh,
yeah, it's the way we prioritize things. You get at different
yeah.
stages in your life. I mean, it's I've got some friends that are phenomenal anglers, but like the littlest things come up and they're not fishing. I mean, I'm gonna give them shit, because they're my friends. But at the end of the day, I do understand that everybody's at a different point in their life, and it's like they've caught so many fish or so many quality fish that they're just like, go out another time and get it, But these opportunities or these experiences don't come along. That's
but
okay.
it's on my bucket list, and I want to go for a tournament
Man,
because
it
that's
was
where I get to see. I don't care if I win or not, if I do good or not. Well, I kind of care, but it's not like that's my main thing is to have fun.
yeah. You wouldn't mind if you lucked into it, but
Yeah.
having fun, the experience. Oh, hey, I was that was 1,000% my mentality. Um, and man, uh, that body of water, um, So there weren't a bunch of people that got giants, but like over the course of that weekend, man, I caught, I don't know, between what I started fishing Wednesday evening, Wednesday evening to Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, like Thursday, I fished with Drew. Yeah, I went out with Drew Gregory. We went and fished. And then Friday, I went to another area that I felt a little bit more comfortable with. Every day, dude, you're just catching so many fish. And with the right mentality, that can be very rewarding. For me, it was just, I drove like 25 hours,
Dude, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, if I go, I'm gonna call Peter and I'm gonna, just caravan with him because I ain't doing that.
We could have got there a lot quicker, except for the fact that I ate something the day before I left out there, and I could tell you where every Love's gas stop is from DFW all the way to Pennsylvania.
Buc-ee's. All I'm interested in Buc-ee's. I do have to take a loan out, dude.
That's a ripoff. Buc-ee's a ripoff. They want to
charge. I would cancel you right now for saying that.
Hey,
how dare you?
What kind of Texan are you that's okay with them taking away pickles and onions from a brisket sandwich? First off, the brisket ain't all of that. And anyone who says different just doesn't know how to eat good brisket.
Here's what people like you don't understand. Now you're getting me worked up. It's a gas station sandwich. Like people tell me, it's like, this is not a great. Let me tell you, not only is it a great sandwich, it is not as good as if you would have gone to one of my favorite barbecue places, Panther Barbecue in Fort Worth. Amazing barbecue place. Best barbecue in Fort Worth, by the way. Or if you go to, I don't know.
Now we're getting to the juice.
Yeah. Now we're getting to the juice. It's not going to be that good. But keep in mind, those are $20 sandwiches. This is a $12, $13 sandwich out of a gas station. And it still tastes amazing. No, actually, it's less than $13. It's about $10. And it still tastes amazing.
It's $12.
And it's a gas station.
The bread is trash.
No,
I'm used to like puro Mexicano gas station food.
You even have the accent going, man.
Charlie. And so, like, when I think of gas station food, I do not discount gas station food because I know some spots over here in Garland, North Dallas at a gas station that will light you up. They are like the best places to eat.
Best bathrooms, by the way, Andy. You're completely right.
Oh yeah. Yep. Nope. Buc-ee's got them good. But they flipped my switch when they got rid of Dippin' Dots. Okay. You ain't got Dippin' Dots no more. They started charging.
Candy peanuts are amazing, by the way.
They started charging for onions and pickles on their $12 brisket sandwich. Like, and then those, I love those chips, the potato chips. That they want to charge you 50 cents for some ketchup.
Oh no, I don't.
After I just
they don't charge you for ketchup.
Well, the ones out here by my pad, yeah. In
I don't. I always ask them. They said like, "Oh, it's over there. You grab it from there." I've never paid for condiments extra. I've never had to pay for pickles or anything like that. I haven't honestly.
I don't want to sound like a Karen. I'm gonna bring you with me next time because
let's go.
When I walk up and they tell me, "Oh yeah, it's 50 cents for ketchup. It's 50 cents for onions. It's 50 cents for pickles."
It's right there. You just grab them.
Not at the ones out here. Maybe we ghetto. I don't know, homeboy.
Oh, because you live in Hubbard. You live in Hubbard. That's why. With all the whatever Buc-ee's nugget,
the riffraff.
People do not listen to this guy. If you haven't gone to Buc-ee's, it is.
Oh, you gotta go. Good. It's an experience.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Keep in mind, it's gas station food, but it's still awesome. They're also their beef jerky is amazing.
Oh, What's your go-to beef jerky?
Oh, man, kind of embarrassed to say it, but some of them are really good. This is a hit or miss. But the God, I forgot the name.
Bohemian garlic.
That's one.
Is the jam.
The teriyaki though. The teriyaki is hit or miss. If you don't get good teriyaki bris, it can go either way. It's gonna be horrible. It's gonna be really good.
So you're saying that their jerky is inconsistent?
No. I'm just saying in general. When you look when I go for beef jerky, I'm like, depending on what brand it is, it's gonna be good, and another brand it's gonna be horrible. So I'm saying like there's flavors that you really can't screw up. Like it is what it is. Like the originals, and it's
peppered.
But the beef jerky is like it's either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. The one at Buc-ee's,
the ghost pepper,
it's really good.
The ghost pepper, I don't know if they still carry it. Like I said, I've switched over. I'm a Duke's gas station now. They have a Taco Casa, by the way, which is not puro Mexicano, but like it's still I like it. I like it still.
Really?
But
Really? Taco
Duke,
Casa? Really?
what they Taco Casa is?
Dude, it's horrible.
I don't eat Taco Bell. I do not eat that. If I'm constipated for like 5 days, I'll go eat Taco Bell. That'll clear it right up. But I don't have that problem, so I don't. But no, Taco Bell, not my jam. But Taco Casa, yeah, I'll smack some Taco Casa for sure.
Typical white boy. God.
Ándale, this guy.
Dude, there's so many taco spots around, like truly Mexican taco spots, and I would not do a taco. I wouldn't do any brand change. If you ever, by the way, if you live near Dallas, oh, you've lived near Dallas. Have you tried salsa verde? Dude, it is. Now
Like
I'm gonna
food or the restaurant?
the restaurant.
I can't say I have.
Dude,
No.
it is amazing. Now it when the restaurant has an armed bodyguard with a bulletproof vest, the tacos are going to be
It's in the
good.
right part of town.
You're in the right part of town as far as getting tacos.
Yeah. No, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I can
But
rock
the
with that.
tacos, salsa verde, that's your plug right there. That is amazing. Best tacos al pastor that I've had.
The
Amazing.
pastor?
Yes.
That's what's up. Okay. Where is it at? Well, I'll look it up. I can Google it.
Somewhere in Dallas, but it's it's in the ghetto, but I'm telling you, it's really good.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying to bring heat. Hey, ain't nobody trying to bring heat to the taco spot, bro. They just want to, you know what I'm saying? It'd be all right. It'd be all right.
Yeah. That's when the tacos are good. All right. This is getting out of hand. We're all gone for 2 hours.
Hey,
thank you so much, Peter.
Yeah, man. Hey, we got to get out and do some fishing though.
Yeah.
Don't just say it for social media. Let's be about it. I'm
going to Board Arc tomorrow.
I know, but I already had commitments. It's just like this podcast.
I appreciate it, by the way. It was last minute.
Hey, a guy hit me up 2 hours. I'm not kidding you, 2 hours. Because I screenshotted our text, sent it to him. I said, homeboy, you 2 hours late. Because he invited me to go fish Lavon, the working man's tonight. But I wasn't I made the commitment. So just like that, tomorrow I have a commitment, so I can't bounce on him. But I do want to we got to get out and do some fishing. We'll go up to your favorite spot by Boat Arc.
My favorite spot. I haven't found it yet. I'll
let you know. The spot by Boat Arc. The spot
by yes.
Yeah, we can go to that one and
I spoil myself. That's why I don't go to that spot so much.
Yeah, it's that honey hole will give you false confidence.
Dude, that lake is so good.
Oh yeah. Well, there's two of them within.
Yeah, but which one I'm talking about. Oh yeah. That is Winter Lake. I'd say that lake in Athens, and for that same reason, because they're so grassy on summer, then on winter, man, I don't know what it is. They're just dynamite.
Oh yeah.
Dynamite. All right, that's it. For those out there watching, go check out our sponsors, North Lithium, great batteries. If you're really serious about getting a battery, North Lithium, hit me up on my DM. We do have a discount code that I can't just give out. But if you're interested in getting a battery, go check them out, North Lithium. And if you find one that you like, hit me up on my DM, Facebook or YouTube. Facebook or Instagram. Also, Douglas Rods, Amazing Rods, Dark Horse Tackle. You can save $5 of your either first subscription box, or if you don't want to subscribe, you can build your own box at $5 and save on top of the savings that you get by building your own box. And of course, Catch Outdoors, $5 off your next purchase on both Dark Horse Tackle and Catch Outdoors. Do BKB5 for your discount. And Mariner Sales, go check out Mariner Sales, biggest kayak inventory and accessories here in the DFW Metroplex. I love Duke Trent and everybody at Mariner Sales. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember the winners of the giveaways, TJ Atkins, Blake, Mike, and Brian. Hit me up on, I think all of you were on Facebook. Hit me up on Facebook Messenger. I think Blake was on YouTube. So Blake, if you're still watching or coming back to listening to this podcast, hit me up on Facebook. TJ, I know you already did. But that's it. We're your PFDs. Any last words before we head out, Peter?
Hope y'all are doing well. Staying rad. Get out there, go tug on them. Don't let this weather turn you off. You might just get out there and be surprised.
Stay rad. What, back in the 90s? All right, we're your PFDs, people. Stay rad.
Oh, he left me on.
I'm an idiot. I ended it, but I got up, but I didn't end it.